Hello everyone, welcome back. We have discussed 50 questions, first 50 questions of UPSC 2023 paper, General Studies first paper. Now we will discuss another 50 questions and answers also. Okay, so the first question says, consider the following statements relation to Janani Suraksha Yojana. Okay, so this is a flagship program by central government, but it says it is a safe motherhood intervention of the respective state governments. See, this statement is incorrect. This is not the program by the respective state governments. Rather, this program was started by the central government. This is also a centrally sponsored scheme. Secondly, the objective is to reduce maternal neomortality rate among the poor and pregnant women. So this statement is correct because it is one of its objective, right? So apart from that, the third statement says it aims to promote the institutional delivery among poor and pregnant women. So this is also correct because it is one of the objective of the agency, right? Sorry, this scheme, and it will promote the institutional deliveries. What are the institutional deliveries? So institutional deliveries are generally encouraging the deliveries in a hospital, either government hospital or the private hospital, instead of attending these deliveries by traditional birth attendants, because that would have severe consequences like high maternal mortality rates, infant mortality rates, etc. So the fourth statement says its objective includes providing public health facilities to sick infants up to a year of age. So this is kind of an incorrect statement because it provides healthcare facilities or the healthcare services for both the pregnant, lactating, and uh, child also for free of cost. So correct answer for this question is only two, option B. Now 52, question number 52. So it says that consider the following statements in the context of interventions being taken under the Anemia Mukt Bharat. Okay, so it provides a prophylactic calcium supplementation for preschool children, adolescents, and pregnant women. Now you have to note here that it is not calcium that is required for a for an anemia affected individual. Rather, he or she require the iron supplementation. And this Anemia Mukt Bharat strategy envisions that it will provide a prophylactic iron supplementation for preschool children, adolescents, and also pregnant women. So therefore, this statement is incorrect because it says prophylactic calcium supplementation, right? So the second statement, it runs a campaign for delayed cord clamping at the time of childbirth. So this statement is correct because of delayed cord clamping, that would ensure that significant blood losses would not reported on the part of the mother. So after birth, what happens, most of the mothers suffer with anemia or low blood levels. So delayed cord clamping would ensure that they will not suffer those problems. This statement is correct. And third statement says that it provides for the periodic deworming for children and adolescents. This is also correct statement. And the fourth statement says it addresses non-nutritional causes of anemia in endemic pockets with special focus on malaria, hemoglobinopathies, and fluorosis. So this statement is also correct because this strategy will not just look at the nutritional causes of anemia, but it will also look at the non-nutritional causes of anemia, right? So for the correct answer, this is C. All three statements are correct. Sorry, three statements are correct. And 53rd question, carbon fibers are used in the manufacturing of components used in automobiles and aircraft. This is very basic understanding that carbon fibers are extensively used for various applications in automobile industries and aircrafts. Okay, so this statement is correct. The second statement says carbon fibers once used, they cannot be recycled. So this is incorrect because carbon fibers can easily recycled. So altogether saying that they cannot be recycled is something, uh, you know if they cannot be recycled, why carbon fibers are being used in automobiles and aircrafts? So this is also, I mean, incorrect statement, but I'm just saying a simple logic. So statement 1 is correct. Now 54th question. So this is with respect to accelerometer. Okay, this is with respect to accelerometer. What is an accelerometer? Accelerometer generally observes the speed or the movement of a particular object, and then it suddenly takes a proper decision, right? So some of the examples were given. First is a detection of car crash collision, which results in the deployment of airbags almost instantaneously. Okay, so if there is a car crash or a collision, that would result in a deployment of airbags instantaneously. And second statement, detection of an accidental free fall of a laptop towards the ground, which results in the immediate turning off of the hard drive, sorry. So third statement, detection of the tilt of a smartphone, which results in the rotation of a display between portrait and landscape modes. See, all these statements are correct uh, because they use the function of an accelerometer. Okay, they also require the function of an accelerometer. So in all these devices, the correct answer for this question is option C. Now 55th question, with reference to role of biofilters in recirculating aquaculture systems, consider the following statements. Okay, so these recirculating aquaculture systems are actually extensively used in aquaculture. Okay, because it has a range of applications in aquaculture. Okay, so therefore the first statement says biofilters provide a waste treatment, removing the uneaten fish feed. Now, in aquaculture, generally fish are given feed regularly, and fish waste would also be have to be removed from the ponds. So, if not readily removed, that would lead to the eutrophication. Okay, the problem of eutrophication. So eutrophication is not good for the health of fish, and it would also result in high biological oxygen demand. So therefore, biofilters are effective instruments in removing the untreated or uneaten fish feed. Second statement says biofilters convert ammonia that is present in fish waste to nitrate. So this statement is also correct. So uh, the, they convert the ammonia present in fish waste. Okay, so when they are treating fish waste, they also convert the ammonia that is present in the fish waste into nitrate. So nitrate will be a useful element for the fish cultivation. And third statement says biofilters increase phosphorus as a nutrient for fish in water. Now biofilters may convert a phosphorus into any other element. Maybe they may remove the phosphorus as a nutrient in the aquaculture system, but increasing excessive, I mean, whether it is nitrate or phosphorus, increasing phosphorus content would lead to again eutrophication. Okay, it would again lead to eutrophication, and eutrophication increases the biological oxygen demand. And I hope every one of you know about the biological oxygen demand. So UPSC also asked a question on biological oxygen demand. Now increasing biological oxygen demand would result in mass death of fish. Okay, mass death of fish, and that would also result in creation of dead zones, etc. So therefore the correct answer for this question is option B, but it could be C also. Okay, it could be C also, but most convincingly the option is B. Only two options, right? So 56 statement. So it says Cepheids are giant clouds of dust and gas in space. So this statement is incorrect. So they are not giant clouds of dust and gas. Rather, they are stars which brighten and dim periodically. Okay. So on the other hand, nebula is giant gas clouds of dust and gas in space. See, UPSC has just interchanged these options, cephaloids to nebula and nebula to cephaloids. So these two are incorrect, but on the other hand, pulsars are correct. So they are neutron stars that formed when massive stars run out of the fuel and they ultimately collapse. Okay, for example, take an example of sun. So when sun run out of fuel, sun is also one of the massive star. and they are actually, the pulsars are actually the neutron stars, and these pulsars will form after these massive stars run out of fuel or they collapse. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is option A. So 57th question, which one of the following countries have their own satellite navigation system? So only very few countries have their own satellite navigation system across the world. So one is Japan. Okay, so India also have its own satellite navigation system. Okay, Navic. Okay, this is Navic. In the same way, Japan also has its own satellite navigation system. Right? The correct answer for this question is option D. Now, 58th question, it says ballistic missiles are jet propelled at subsonic speeds and throughout their flights, while cruise missiles are rocket powered only in the initial phase of a flight. So this statement is clearly incorrect. So why it is incorrect? Because you have to understand, when ballistic missiles are fired, they reach the maximum speeds in the atmosphere sky, and while descending to hit the targets, they achieve the hypersonic speeds. Okay, they achieve the supersonic and hypersonic speeds with the help of the gravitational force. Okay, with the help of the gravitational force. So however, they can hit only the stationary targets. Okay, only stationary targets, but they cannot hit the moving targets. On the other hand, the cruise missiles can hit the stationary targets and moving targets as well. Okay, so this statement says that BrahMos missiles are jet propelled at subsonic speeds throughout their flight. So throughout their flight, they are not, in the subsonic speeds. So therefore, this statement is incorrect. And statement 2 says Agni 5 is a medium range supersonic cruise missile, while BrahMos is a solid fueled intercontinental ballistic missile. See, if you are regularly following news, so you can clearly know that Agni is a solid fueled intercontinental ballistic missile. So it is not a supersonic cruise missile and it is not a medium range one. On the other hand, BrahMos is a medium range missile. Okay, so this is a medium range, a supersonic cruise missile BrahMos. So UPSC just interchanged these two. Agni to ballistic, Agni to BrahMos to ballistic missile, and Agni to supersonic missile. So this statement is also incorrect. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Okay, so option D. Now the next question is, consider the following statements regarding mercury pollution. Right. So gold mining activity is a source of mercury pollution in the world. Of course, when gold mining taking place, it would also release a mercury into the environment, and that would cause the environmental pollution. Okay, so the water pollution and soil pollution, etc. So therefore, the correct first statement is absolutely correct. And coal-based thermal power plants cause mercury pollution. Okay, so this statement is also correct. So apart from producing nitrous oxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. So such gases, harmful gases, coal-based thermal power plants, they also cause mercury pollution. This is absolutely true. However, one thing you have to understand is that at the global level, okay, at the global level, there is no safe level of, mercury pollution. As of now, there is no known safe level of exposure. Okay, so ideally neither children nor adults should have any mercury in their bodies, because it provides no physiological benefit. In fact, it harms. So therefore, this statement is also clearly correct. The correct answer is option C. So with reference to green hydrogen, consider the following statements. Okay, this is with respect to green hydrogen. Now, while we are discussing about the hydrogen national hydrogen mission, so I have also explained you different categories of hydrogen: green hydrogen, blue hydrogen, gray hydrogen, okay, and brown hydrogen. So all these are different varieties of hydrogen. And first statement says that it can be directly used as a fuel for internal combustion. Yes, it can be directly used as a fuel in the internal combustion, okay, internal engines. Second statement says it can be blended with natural gas and can also be used as a fuel for heat and power generation. This is also absolutely true. So third statement says it can be used in the hydrogen fuel cell to run vehicles. So yes, this can also be used in hydrogen fuel cells to run vehicles. All these statements are correct. Now, what is a green hydrogen? Okay, there are different varieties of hydrogen, but how blue hydrogen is different from the green hydrogen. Now, when synthesizing the green hydrogen, it is done through electrolysis of water. Okay, electrolysis of water. So water will be electrolyzed. Now, electrolysis of water will release zero emissions. Okay, so will release zero emissions, and it will be done through renewable sources or renewable energies. Since it is being electrolysis is being done through renewable sources, it releases zero emissions. So therefore, it is called as a green hydrogen. It also have a very significant applications across different arenas. Okay, so this is all about the green hydrogen. Now, the next statement, consider the following countries. Okay, so which of the following countries shares its borders with Ukraine? So this is also a much expected question. Whenever any nation is in news, you have to be careful where it is located and what are the countries which are actually bordering. And generally, it is an expected question because it is almost 1.5 year since the war has been started. Now, if you look at the countries which are bordering Ukraine, there are Russia, starting from Russia, and Belarus, Poland, and Hungary, Slovakia, Slovenia, something, and then Romania and Moldova. Okay, so these are the countries which are bordering Ukraine. Now, if you look at all these options, only few countries, one is Romania and Hungary, which shares border with Ukraine. Remaining countries, they don't share border with Ukraine. Okay, so neither Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Latvia, Lithuania. So the correct answer for this question is A, only two options. Now, with reference to Earth's atmosphere, which one of the following statements are correct? Okay, so they have given four statements, and the correct answer for this question is option C. Okay, so infrared waves, they are largely absorbed by the water that is present in the atmosphere, and that is concentrated in the lower atmosphere. Okay, so the water vapor which is concentrated in the lower atmosphere, and that absorbs or attracts all the infrared radiation. So if you look at insolation, the Earth's surface receives most of its energy in a short wavelength. Okay, so while receiving energy, the energy is being received in a short wavelength, while reflecting back, it is done through a long wavelength energy. So the energy received by Earth is known as incoming solar radiation. This is very well known fact. Okay, so this is short and it is termed as a insolation. Now, atmosphere is largely transparent to short-wave solar radiation. Okay, so the incoming solar radiation passes through the atmosphere before striking the Earth. Okay, so within the troposphere, water vapor, ozone, and other gases absorb much of the infrared radiation. So, therefore, the correct answer for this question is option C. Right. So, the 63rd question. Soil in tropical rainforest is rich in nutrients. So the second statement is the high temperature and moisture in tropical rainforest cause dead organic matter in the soil to decompose quickly. Now, if you look at the tropical areas, equatorial regions, so even though they have a huge organic matter, they are often considered as poor in nutrients. They are often considered as very poor in nutrients. Why? The reason is in the equatorial regions, because of heavy rainfall, leaching takes place. Okay, leaching of organic matter takes place, and that makes the soils less fertile. That makes soils less fertile. So, on the other hand, if you look at the tropical areas, okay, if you look at the tropical areas, So they experience high temperature, and they also have a huge moisture. Okay, tropical rainforest, and this result in the dead organic matter in the soil to decompose very quickly. Okay, so it decomposes very quickly, and when it decomposes very quickly, it is almost not possible or impossible to have or to make soils nutrient rich. Okay, so a slow decomposition would make the soil rich in nutrients, but when it is of decomposing faster, it would make the soils less fertile. Okay, so or it does not have enough, or it does not contain rich nutrients, so therefore this statement is incorrect. On the other hand, this statement is correct. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is option B. Consider the following statement. Statement 1. The temperature contrast between continents and oceans is greater during summer than in winter. Okay. So the second statement says the specific heat of water is more than that of a land surface. Right. So 64. The correct answer for this question is option B. Okay. So correct answer for this question is option B. Even though individually both these statements are correct, statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, but statement 2 is not supporting the claim made in the statement 1. Okay, so the temperature contrast between continents and oceans is greater during the summer than in winter. On the other hand, this explains the land water differential heating. So differential heating of land and water. Uh, Water heats up slowly than the earth. Okay, so land than the land. So this explains that the specific heat of water is more than the land surface. So this does not explain the above mentioned fact, so therefore the correct answer is option B. 64 and 65, uh, this is based on earthquakes. Okay, based on earthquakes. Now P waves in a seismograph, P waves are recorded earlier than S waves. This is very obvious. P waves are also called as primary waves. They are also known as primary waves, and S waves are known as secondary waves. Okay, they are known as secondary waves. Now, in the primary waves and secondary waves, in P waves, the individual particles vibrate to and from in the direction of a wave propagation, whereas S waves, the particles vibrate up and down at right angles to the direction of a wave propagation. Okay, so this is also a very well known fact that the primary waves from the epicenter, sorry, the focus, focus is the area where earthquake generates. From the focus area to the P waves generate or vibrate to and from in a direction of wave propagation, whereas S waves, the particles vibrate up and down at right angles to the direction of a wave propagation. So therefore the correct answer is option C. Okay, so 66th question, with reference to coal-based thermal power plants in India, consider the following statements. First statement says none of them uses seawater. So none of the uh, uh, thermal power plants uses seawater. This is incorrect statement because there are few power plants in Gujarat. They use seawater for the cooling. Okay, for the cooling of thermal power plant. So therefore, this statement is incorrect. And second statement says none of them is set up in the water stressed district. This is also incorrect because there are few thermal power plants they set up in water stressed districts also, even though they require water. Okay, so but they source water from other district or any other sources through canals. And third statement says none of them is privately organized. This is also incorrect because we have several thermal power plants that are owned by the private companies as well. Now 67th statement, Wolapakia. Now, when it comes to Wolabakia, so I have discussed with you while discussing, analyzing the newspaper, that it is about the dengue virus. Okay, dengue virus, and mosquitoes are often being used as a vector. Okay, they are often being used as a vector for the spread of dengue disease. Okay, for the spread of dengue or chikungunya disease. Now Wolabakia is generally a bacteria. Okay, so generally it is a bacteria, and this bacteria would be inserted into a mosquitoes. okay, mosquitoes, and these bacteria would reduce or they inhibit the growth of those viruses within the mosquitoes, and the Wolbachia bacteria can also be used to make them sterile, okay, make them sterile or infertile. So the correct answer for this question is option A, 67. And the 68th question, this is with respect to, they have given three options. How many of the above activities are considered and discussed for the carbon capture and carbon sequestration? Okay, so they have discussed for the carbon capture and carbon sequestration. Now, carbon capture and carbon sequestration are the terms actually. So they have gained a lot of traction in recent times. Now, carbon is generally captured from the emissions of industries. So, okay, so from the industrial emissions, carbon is captured. So once the carbon is captured, the captured carbon would be stored in a safe way, either underground coal seams, coal mines, or any other mines. Okay, so in this way, we could be able to reduce the global warming or greenhouse gases, effect of the greenhouse gases over the rising temperatures. So the first statement says spreading finely ground basalt rock on farmlands extensively. First statement. Second statement, increasing the alkalinity of oceans by adding lime. The third statement, capturing carbon dioxide, and that is released by various industries and pumping it into the abandoned subterranean mines in the form of carbonated waters. So all these factors or all these activities are part of the carbon capture and carbon sequestration. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is option C. Now, aerial metagenomics, that is best refers to which one of the following? Okay, so this is a new term which we come across. UPSC used to ask such terms. Okay, so what is aerial metagenomics? So it is typically refers to the study of genetic material. Okay, whether it is DNA, RNA, and that is collected from the air. So DNA and RNA is also collected from the air, and it is usually in the form of airborne particles and aerosols. If there is any suspended DNA or in RNA molecules in the you know suspended in the air particles or aerosols, it would be captured through aerial megagenomics method, right? So it involves analyzing the microbial communities present in the air, characterizing their genetic diversity, right? So during the COVID-19 pandemic, or when it comes to the TB bacteria, it spreads from one person to another person through coughing, sneezing, okay, or through suspended air particles. Now, aerial metagenomics ensure that those viruses or bacteria would be captured and their genetic structure would be assessed properly. So, therefore, the correct answer for this question is option A, collecting DNA samples from air in a habitat at one go. Now, question number 70, microsatellite DNA. So, this microsatellite DNA is used in case of which one of the following? Okay, so this is also a new term which come across, right? So, the microsatellite DNA is actually it is used in a genetic analysis and more specifically in molecular genetics and genomics. And microsatellite DNA are small DNA sequences and they made up of repeating units. Okay, so therefore the correct answer for this question is option A, and the microsatellite DNA is used for studying the evolutionary relationships among various species of fauna. Okay, so the 71st statement, the 71st question. So it says, consider the following statements with reference to India. According to Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Act 2006, the medium enterprises are those with investments in plant machinery between 15 crore to 25 crore. So this is incorrect. Okay, why it is incorrect? Because it is not 15 to 25 crore investment, rather it is the investment of 50 crore to 250 crore rupees. So because of this reason, it is incorrect. The second statement says all bank loans to micro, small, and medium enterprises, they are qualified. They qualify for the priority sector lending. So we often come across the priority sector lending obligations of the private banks and the scheduled commercial banks. Yes, no doubt that MSME loans are categorized under the priority sector lending, but all loans, all bank loans which are given to MSME, they may not be you considered for the priority sector lending. Okay, so therefore this is a bit doubtful statement, but I would go with option D. It could be B also. Okay. 72, with reference to central bank digital currencies, consider the following statements. The central bank digital currencies, is also very often in news. In the backdrop of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, several central banks, the digital currencies are in pipeline, and in fact, the Reserve Bank of India has also been planning to launch such a you know digital currency. Now, it makes possible to make payments in a digital currency without using US dollar or SWIFT system. This is absolutely correct. Okay, so SWIFT is a system at the international level that facilitates, you know, that actually facilitates the transactions, the financial transactions at the international level. And when we launch the central bank digital currency, we don't actually require the SWIFT system, or we can make payments without a US dollar and SWIFT system. So second statement says a digital currency can be distributed with a condition programmed into it, such as timeline, time frame, or spending it. Now it says the digital currency which already produced have a time frame for spending it. It does not say that. Rather, it says that it can be fitted with, or it can be programmed into such a time frame for spending it. So similar to when we purchase something, when we purchase something on either Paytm or in Flipkart. Okay, so they provide us some points. Okay, they provide us some points, and those points also have the validity dates. In the similar way, central bank digital currency could also be fixed with a proper timeline. So the correct answer for this question is option C. 73rd question, in the context of finance, the term beta refers to. So this is a difficult question, and many of you may not come across this word beta. So this beta is related to stock market. Okay, so this is related to stock market. Generally, stock market, there are several listed companies which list their respective stocks. Okay, so in stock market, there are stocks, and they are also called as equities. Okay, they are also called as equities, and stocks also have, each stock also have options and futures. Okay, they also have options and futures. Now, the movement in the price of options and futures is decided by the movement in the price of stock. Okay, so in case 1 unit price change in a respective stock, this is for example, the name of the stock is Tata Motors. Okay, Tata Motors is the stock name. So if there is a 1 rupee increase in the stock price, how it will influence the price movement in both options and futures is called as beta, right? So therefore, the correct answer is option B, a numeric value that measures the fluctuations of a stock to changes in the overall stock market, right? So correct answer is option D. Even though they are very close options, but option D is the correct answer. Now, so 74th question, the self-help group program was originally initiated by the State Bank of India for providing microcredit to the financially deprived. So the basic objective or the inherent motive of the self-helping group is providing microcredit to the financially deprived individuals, especially financially deprived women, and making them financially independent and self-reliant. However, this was not started first by the Reserve Bank of India, State Bank of India. Rather, the Society for Self-Employed Women Association, SEVA. So this was first started the self-helping group. Okay, by providing microcredit to microcredit to financially deprived women. So therefore, this statement is incorrect. And second statement says in a self-helping group, all members of a group take responsibility for a loan that an individual member takes. So this statement is correct. In self-helping group, what happens generally, there are 10 members in a self-helping group. Okay, so they collectively get loan from a bank, They collectively get a loan from the bank and they invest that money in either any poultry activity or local food manufacturing or food processing business and dairy farming. So after investing, the dividends will be shared among these 10 women individuals. Okay, so even if one woman not pay the loan, then it will be the responsibility of the remaining woman to pay off the loans. Okay, so therefore in an SHG, all members of a group take responsibility for a loan that an individual member takes, right? So third statement is also correct. The regional rural banks, scheduled commercial banks support the self-helping groups. So they just support, it says just support the self-helping groups by providing microcredit to these agencies. Okay, the correct answer for this question is option B. Okay, so if the statement says only regional rural banks or scheduled commercial banks support the self-helping groups, then that is absolutely wrong. Here you have to use your common sense. 75th question, statement 1. India's public sector healthcare system largely focuses on curative care, limited preventive, promotive, and rehabilitative care. Okay, so this is like an opinion based question. So, what do you think? Indian public sector healthcare does not focus much on preventive, promotive, and rehabilitative care. This is absolutely wrong because what is the difference between a curative and the preventive care? For example, if an individual is infected with a disease, he goes to hospital and necessary treatment would be provided in the hospital and he would uh, he will be treated, right? This is a curative care. On the other hand, the preventive care involves the community engagement or the community involvement. What about the wide network of ASHAs, Anganwadis, accredited nurse midwife, ANMs? And what about government's huge vaccination programs? Okay, government's huge vaccination programs. And what about government's anti HIV campaign? Okay, anti HIV campaigns. So these are all part of the the preventive and the rehabilitative measures focused by the public healthcare sector. So this statement is clearly incorrect. And second statement says India's decentralized approach to healthcare delivery, states are primarily responsible for organizing health services. So this statement is correct. Why this statement is correct? Because healthcare is in the state list. Okay, healthcare is in the state list. So please don't confuse with education. Education is in the concurrent list, not in the state list or the union list. On the other hand, healthcare is in the state list. Since healthcare is in the state list, uh, we have been following a decentralized approach, and healthcare delivery is the primary responsibility of the states. Okay, so therefore, statement 2 is correct. However, statement 1 is incorrect. The correct answer is option B. Now, 76th question. So, according to the United Nations World Water Development Report, 2022, India extracts more than quarter. Okay, India extracts around one third of the world's groundwater each year. Okay, this statement is correct because India is home to around 18% of global population, and India uses groundwater for wide variety of purposes, and there is no regulation, and no regulation coupled with excessive exploitation of groundwater would result in one third exploitation of water. So this statement is clearly correct. On the other hand, the second statement says India needs to extract more than quarter, so one third of the world's groundwater each year to satisfy drinking water and sanitation needs of almost 18% of world's population. They are living in its territory. See, while going through the statement, it seems like it is correct, but you have to understand the one third of the water extraction in India is because of to meet its drinking water and sanitation needs, and this is where the statement goes incorrect. India uses around 90% of its water for irrigation purposes. Okay, so irrigation purposes. So therefore, the statement number 2 is incorrect, And since it is incorrect, the correct answer for this question is option C. Okay, 76. And 77, uh, it says, according to the Constitution of India, central government has the duty to protect states from internal disturbances. So this statement is correct because the central government have the responsibility. Uh, if you look at the recent example of Manipur violence, where the central government readily deployed the armed forces. So therefore, it is the primary responsibility of the center to protect the states from the internal disturbances. So second statement says the Constitution of India exempts states from providing legal counsel to a person being held for preventive detention. Now these issues generally are not dealt by the Constitution itself because we have several laws, statutes, and the Code of Criminal Procedure and the Code of Civil Procedure. So therefore, Constitution would not be directly deal with this. So this statement is clearly incorrect. So third statement says, according to the Prevention of Terrorism Act 2002, confession of an accused before the police cannot be used as an evidence. However, the Prevention of Terrorism Act 2002 says that the confession by an individual who is accused of terrorism can be considered as an evidence. So, therefore, this statement is also incorrect. The correct answer for this question is option A. Now, 78th question. Which one of the following countries has been suffering from decades of civil strife and food shortages? So, and this country is in news in the recent past for its very severe famine. The correct answer is option D, Somalia. So, remaining all the countries, Angola is an African country, Costa Rica, Ecuador. So, they are stable countries. On the other hand, the Somalia has been suffering with civil strife, famines, and several other conflicts. So the correct answer is option D. Now, 79th question. So in India, the biodiversity management committees are key to the realization of objectives of Nagoya Protocol. The Convention on Biological Diversity, that was initiated and adopted by several countries, and India is a one country that also adopted the Convention on Biological Diversity. So accordingly, India passed the Biodiversity Act. Okay, India passed the Biodiversity Act in the year 2002, and the Biodiversity Act constitutes the biodiversity management committees at the district level. Biodiversity management committees at the district level, and they have a significant roles and responsibilities in wide variety of areas. Okay, so they are key in realization of objectives under the Nagoya Protocol. Now, when it comes to the Convention on Biological Diversity, there are two protocols. One is Cartagena Protocol. Okay, one is Cartagena Protocol, and second is Nagoya Protocol. Okay, so Cartagena Protocol is with respect to biosafety, and Nagoya Protocol is on living modified organisms. So, therefore, the Biodiversity Management Committee uh, have important roles and responsibilities. Second statement is also absolutely correct because it has an important functions in determining access and benefit sharing, and that includes levy, collection of fee, access to biological resources within its jurisdiction. So therefore, the correct answer for this question is option C. Next question 80. Consider the following statements in respect of elections to the President Office of the President of India. So the members nominated to either House of the Parliament or the Legislative Assembly of States are also eligible to be included in the Electoral College. So if you uh, understand and remind the Electoral College of the president, electoral college of the president, generally the nominated members are not part of the electoral college. So therefore, it says the nominated members are also part of the electoral college of the president. This statement is clearly incorrect. Second statement says, higher the number of elective assembly seats, higher is the value of each MLA of the state. Okay, so in a way, this statement is also incorrect, not the higher MLAs. Uh, for example, a state like Madhya Pradesh, which has a higher MLAs than the state like Kerala. Now, when there are higher number of elective assembly seats, the value of the vote will also reduce. So this statement is incorrect. The third statement, value of the vote of each MLA in Madhya Pradesh is greater than that of Kerala. Okay. So this statement is also correct. Let me see. Sorry, this statement is incorrect. Okay, so this statement is incorrect, and second statement is also not correct. Second statement is also not correct, and the first statement is also not correct. Okay, on the other hand, because it says higher the number of elective assembly seats, higher is the value. So higher the number of elective assembly seats, lower the value of each MLA. And since Madhya Pradesh has the highest number of assembly seats, its value is lower than Kerala. On the other hand, the fourth statement says the value of vote of each MLA at Puducherry is higher than that of Arunachal Pradesh, because the ratio of population to total number of elective seats in Puducherry is greater as compared to the Arunachal Pradesh. So this statement is correct. Okay, so the correct answer is option A. Now, 81st question, with reference to Indian history, Alexander Ray, A.H. Longhurst, and Robert Sewell, James Burgess, Walter Elliot. So they are actually the civil servants during the colonial rule. Okay, so they are civil servants during the colonial rule, and these individuals were also associated with archaeological excavations. Okay, so they also associated with archaeological excavations, particularly in southern India. So therefore, the correct answer is option A. Now, 82 question number 82. Consider the following fates, and they have given different sites. Okay, and sites are well known for which of the following aspects, right? So the first statement, Base Nagar is in the state of Madhya Pradesh, and it is one of the most important Saivite cave shrine. So therefore, the question, statement one, site number one is correct. And second statement is Baza. So this is also an important Buddhist cave site. Okay, Baza is also an important Buddhist cave site, and this is located in the state of Maharashtra. Okay, so this is located in the state of Maharashtra. And the third statement is a Sittanavasal caves, and they are located in the state of Tamil Nadu, and they are also a very important Jain cave shrine. Okay, or it is an important Jain cave shrines. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is all three, right? So the next question is the 7th August is declared as National Handloom Day, and statement 2 says that it was 1905 that Swadeshi movement was launched on the same day. So this statement is correct, and this statement is also correct. And since this statement supports statement number one, the correct answer for this question is option A, because it was in the year 1905, August 7, Swadeshi movement was launched in India against the colonial rule. Now, to commemorate this event, 7th August was declared as National Handloom Day for the promotion of handlooms. Now consider the following statements with respect to national flag of India according to the Flag Code of India 2002. Statement 1 says one of the standard sizes. So there are various standard sizes, not just one standard size. There are various standard sizes for the national flag of India according to the Flag Code of India 2002. Okay, Flag Code of India 2002. So among all these standard sizes, there is no 600 mm, 400 mm standard size that is mentioned there by the Flag Code of India. So therefore, statement 1 is clearly incorrect. So second statement is the ratio of the length is to the height of width of 3 is to 2. So this statement is clearly correct. So since statement 1 is incorrect, the correct answer is option D for this question. Now 85th question. So this question says that consider the following statements in respect of the Constitution Day. Now statement 1 says the Constitution Day is celebrated on 26th November every year to promote the constitutional values among citizens. This is absolutely correct and no doubt about that. 26th November is declared as a Constitution Day. Now we look at the statement 2. Statement 2 says on 26th November 1949 the Constituent Assembly of India set up a drafting committee. Okay, so this committee was under the chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar to prepare a draft constitution of India. See, this was clearly incorrect. The drafting committee was constituted in the year 1946, but if you look at India's preamble, the constitution's preamble, at the below Okay, at the below it clearly says on 26th November 1949, uh, this constitution was adopted by the Constituent Assembly. So since it was adopted on the 26th November 1949, this day is commemorated or celebrated as National Constitution Day. So therefore this statement is clearly incorrect. Okay, so statement 2 is clearly incorrect. So the correct option for this question is option C. Okay, statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect. Now 86th, consider the following statements. Statement 1 says Switzerland is one of the leading exporters of gold. It is one of the leading exporters of the gold in terms of value. Yes, in fact, Switzerland is one of the leading exporters of gold. Okay, it is a leading exporters of gold in the world. So the second statement, Switzerland has the second largest gold reserves. So this is incorrect statement. Why it is incorrect statement? Because Switzerland have the seventh largest gold reserves. Seventh largest gold reserves. Now in UPSC, generally what happens is that they can give statements. They can make it if it is the second largest really, they can make it fifth largest. So if it is the fifth largest, they can make it the third largest. So you have to be careful with such words. I mean, not don't go blindly while attempting questions. But if you attempt a very low number of questions, you can consider these things. Okay, you can consider these things while attempting um, the answer. I mean, if you attempt a very low number of questions, otherwise, there is no need for that. You go with your knowledge. So consider the following statement. Statement number 1. Statement number 1 says recently USA and European Union, they have launched Trade and Technology Council. This is very basic and generic statement. So yes, these two the European Union, that is supranational organization, and USA, both of them have launched the Trade and Technology Council. So statement 2 says USA and European Union claim that through this they are trying to bring technological progress and physical productivity under their control. See, this statement is clearly incorrect. You have to understand that any group or any organization would not openly declare that they wanted to control all the technology, they want to control or make the progress belong to themselves only, and they will not share with any other member. These statements would not make any organization or any country great, and these countries also will not openly declare these things. So therefore this statement is clearly incorrect. Okay, so correct answer is statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. Right. So 88th question, India exports around 3.2 percentage of global export goods. See, there is a small trick here. Not a trick, but actually India uh, imports around 3.2 percentage of global imports. This is actually India's share of imports. Now what it asked export of goods. India accounts for 3.2 percentage of global export of goods. And here they also don't mention any year. So therefore this statement is clearly incorrect. On the other hand, statement 2 says that many local companies and some foreign companies opening in India have taken advantage of India's production linked incentive scheme. Okay, so this statement is correct. Okay, this statement is clearly correct because government of India launched the production linked incentive scheme to attract the foreign direct investment and also promote the manufacturing sector in key projects or in few key areas. Okay, so therefore statement 1 statement 2 is clearly correct, and these incentives are given to the companies on their incremental sales. Okay, so therefore the correct answer for this question is option D. Statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct. The next question is the Stability and Growth Pact of European Union is a treaty. Now this treaty will limit the levels of budgetary deficit the countries of the European Union have been facing. This statement is clearly correct. So, however, even though these statements look generic, simple, and they may part of the Stability and Growth Pact, but they are actually not part of the Stability and Growth Pact of the European Union. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is option A. Now, 90th question is recently all countries of the United Nations have adopted the first ever compact for international migration, the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly and Regular Migration. This is otherwise called as GCM. Okay, this is also called as GCM, the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly and Regular Migration. However, it says all the countries. So when it comes to migration, there is some disagreement among the countries. Countries are not ready to accept the migrants and share the resources of their respective nations with migrant populations. And due to the internal security issues with the migrant population, and also changing demographic conditions and scarce resources among these countries, so they are not ready to come have a consensus on these migration pacts. So therefore all countries signing this is an extreme thing, and in fact India is not yet part of the refugee convention. Okay, so therefore this statement is clearly incorrect. On the other hand, it says the objective of the commitments is stated in the GCM are binding on the UN member countries. So they are not binding. If they are binding, then they have to be obligatorily or mandatorily accept these refugees into their respective countries if they are agreed for that. So therefore, this is also clearly incorrect. And third statement says GCM addresses internal migration, internally displaced people, also its objectives and commitments. So this statement is very true. This statement is very true. So the correct answer for this question is option A, one only. Now 91st, with reference to home guards, consider the following statements. Okay, so with reference to home guards, consider the following statements. Home guards are raised under the Home Guard Act rules of the central government. This is where this option is correct. So yes, home guards are raised under the Home Guards Act, but they are not raised under the rules of the central government, but they are raised under the rules of respective state governments. Okay, and home guards are generally assisting the uh, traditional police forces or the police organization. So the role of home guards is to serve as the auxiliary force to the police in the maintenance of internal security. This statement is correct. And third statement, to prevent infiltration on the areas of international border or coastal areas. So the border wing home guard battalions have been raised in some states. So this statement is also correct. So the correct answer for this question is option B, 191. Now, 92nd question, the unauthorized wearing of police and military uniform, they come under the Official Secrets Act. Okay, so this statement is also correct. This statement is correct. The unauthorized wearing of uniform of police military are dealt by the Official Secrets Act 1923. So knowingly misleading or otherwise interfering with the police officer or military officer when engaged in their duties is considered, it comes under the Official Secrets Act 1923, but not the Indian Evidence Act. So therefore, this statement is incorrect. This statement is correct. And celebratory gunfire, which can endanger the personal safety of others, it dealt by the Arms Amendment Act 2019. So this statement is also correct. So the correct answer for this question is option B, 2 only. Right. So 93rd question, North Kivu and Ituri. So North Kivu and Ituri were actually not part of the war between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Rather, you may often hear about Nagorno and Karabakh. Okay, Nagorno and Karabakh. Now, this Nagorno and Karabakh led to the war between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So therefore, this is also incorrectly matched, and this is also incorrectly matched. This North Kivu and Ituri are located in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay, so this is see, Democratic Republic of Congo is also asked for the other reason, the lignite reserves in the same exam. It asked twice. So therefore, the correct answer for this, and also understand the Kherson and Zaporozhye. Earlier also we have seen countries which are bordering or sharing borders with Ukraine, and this Kherson province and Zaporozhye steel plant in Ukraine. Okay, steel plant in Ukraine were also related to the Russia-Ukraine dispute. But the statement asks a dispute between Israel and Lebanon. So therefore, this is also an incorrect statement. The correct answer for this question is option D. Now, The 94th question, statement 1, Israel has established the diplomatic relations with some Arab countries. Yes, absolutely correct. In recent times, Israel have established diplomatic relationship with the UAE and Oman, Egypt. So therefore, it is correct. On the other hand, the second statement says the Arab Peace Initiative mediated by Saudi Arabia was signed between Israel and Arab League. This is incorrect statement because this Arab Peace Initiative was mediated by US, not Saudi Arabia. Okay, so therefore, statement 2 is incorrect and statement 1 is correct. Correct answer is option C. Now, 95th question. Consider the following pairs of with regard to sports awards. This is with respect to the sports awards. Okay, so Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award is generally given for most spectacular and outstanding performance by the sports persons over a period of last 4 years, and this is absolutely correct statement. Now, when it comes to the Arjuna Award for lifetime achievement by the sports person. So, Dhyan Chand Award. Okay, Dhyan Chand. There is also an award called Dhyan Chand Award, and Dhyan Chand Award is being given for the lifetime achievement of sports persons. So, therefore, this statement is incorrect. Now, Dronacharya Award is honor to eminent coaches who have successfully trained sports persons and teams. This is also a correct statement. So, Rashtriya Khel Ratna Protsahan Puraskar. So, this Rashtriya Khel Ratna Protsahan Puraskar is not given to sports persons. Rather, it is given to the private entities, NGOs who have contributed significantly for the development of sports in the country. So, therefore, this is incorrect statement. So the correct answer is option B. One, only two. Now 96th statement, the 44th Chess Olympiad 2022, which of the following statements is are correct? So the first statement says it was the first time that Chess Olympiad was held in India. Yes, absolutely correct. This is actually the first time the 44th Chess Olympiad is being held in India in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Okay, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. So therefore the first statement is correct. Second statement, the official mascot was named as Thambi. Yes, this is also correct. In Tamil Nadu, Thambi is a younger brother. Okay, so the name of Thambi is a younger brother. So therefore, first statement, second statement is the correct. The trophy for the winning team in the open section is the Vera Manchak Cup. Vera Manchak Cup. And second statement says the trophy for the winning team is the women's section is Hamilton Roosevelt Cup. Now here it is interchanged. The Hamilton Russell Cup is for the winning team in the open section. So this open section is open for both men and women. Okay. On the other hand, the Veera Manchak Cup is only for the women. Okay. So therefore, statement 3 and statement 4 are incorrect. Only two statements are correct. 96. Now, question number 97. Again, Russia-Ukraine issue. Donbas region is located in Ukraine. Okay, so this is located in Ukraine, not Syria. So this is incorrect. Now, Kanchan region. Now, Kanchan region is located in Myanmar. Okay, Myanmar is also affected with the military coup. So therefore, Kanchan region is not located in Ethiopia. Now, Tigray region is located in Ethiopia. Okay, it is located in Ethiopia, not in North Yemen. So therefore, all the statements given here are incorrect. Now, 97th question. So, in the recent years, Guinea, Mali, Sudan, they caught in international attention for which one of the following reasons they common to all. So, this correct answer for this question is successful coup. Okay, so these countries have faced coups, military coups, and the recent example was Sudan. Sudan was also caught in a military coup. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Now 99th question. So green hydrogen, again UPSC has asked about green hydrogen. Green hydrogen is expected to play a significant role in decarbonizing how many of the above industries? Yes, green hydrogen can effectively used in all of these industries, and that will help decarbonizing these industries. Okay, so correct answer for this question is option C, all of three. Now, there was a question also about G20 grouping, and the G20 group was originally established as a platform for finance ministers and central bank governors to discuss the economic and financial interests. So, while discussing or analyzing the newspaper articles, I have several times mentioned that this was first established as a finance ministers or central banks governors grouping, and later this was transformed into a full scale leader level organization. So therefore, the first statement is correct. And India has several priorities. Currently, India is also a president to G20 grouping, and one such priority is digital public infrastructure. So this statement is also clearly correct. Okay. So the correct answer for this question is option C, both 1 and 2. Now, if you look at the overall trend of UPSC, there is a radical change that can be observed in this paper. Okay, so last year UPSC introduced a few questions like this year. Okay, so like one only, two only, or all three or none. Now, last year UPSC has introduced, but this year UPSC has given majority of the questions on the basis of this, and this has brought some luck factor also to few candidates. But yes, I mean, you have to work hard in order to attempt these kind of questions. They are a bit tricky questions. Okay, so and you can see here there are several questions which are based in newspapers, whether it is the different awards being given to sports persons, and the 44th chess olympiad, the Arab peace initiative, and these countries which are very often in news, the Nagorno Karabakh, Kherson, Zaporozhye. So all these issues, most of the issues are current affairs based issues. Okay, so you have to regularly attend the newspaper analysis, so that you will get note of all these aspects, and that will help you in your examination. Okay, so UPSC has changed its trend. So with the changing trend, we should also change. I mean, we should also make a transition into ourselves to UPSC mode. So whatever way UPSC gives a paper, it will be our responsibility. Okay, I mean, not you have to attempt the paper. It is, I mean, UPSC gives a paper in order to reduce the competition, huge competition that is in the market. So, and there are several questions like the green hydrogen, and uh, the countries which are located in news. They are very often the mostly asked by UPSC, and this is not new. In the previous years also, there were questions on green hydrogen, and there were questions on countries which are in news, and at least one question is being asked from Africa. Okay, this year there was a question about the you know the region, um, about Cameroon, that was Congo Basin. Okay, so that was actually in the Congo Basin. So I think we have discussed that question in our previous lecture, right? So these are all important observations of this paper. So prepare well, and current affairs is actually a key. So there are several questions. You can link those current affairs with your static knowledge, and you can attempt better this paper. And also understand CSAT is also very crucial. You cannot neglect CSAT, because I think this year CSAT is a most deciding factor in this prelims. Cutoff would be on the lower side compared to the previous years. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also hit the bell icon, so that you will get all important updates regarding our new classes. Thank you.